Okay, let's think about your branded search for a second. Whether it's your own name or your company's, that first page of Google is basically your ultimate digital landing page. Except, it's a landing page you have absolutely zero control over. When a prospective client, a hiring manager, or even a journalist searches for you, that page does all the talking. And if there's a negative result sitting right near the top, man, it doesn't just cost you clicks. It literally reframes every single positive result sitting beneath it. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Like, why on earth is that one negative article from years ago stubbornly outranking your meticulously designed thousands of dollars website? It's a super relatable pain point, but let me reassure you right out of the gate, it is rarely personal. The internet isn't actually out to get you. It simply comes down to cold, hard search ranking signals. And hey, the good news is, because it's driven by signals, it's a problem we can actively solve. So in this explainer, we're diving into the absolute definitive playbook for taking back control of your digital narrative. Drawing on some really great recent insights from Erase.com, we're going to break down the 5 core strategies for removing, de-indexing, and suppressing negative content in 2026. And this isn't just abstract theory. This is the literal, exact tactical approach being used by reputation management pros right now. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our complete triage escalation playbook for today. We'll diagnose why negative content wins, look at deleting it at the source, using Google's tools, escalating to legal action, dealing with AI search, and then wrap up with your action plan. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Why Negative Content Wins. We've got to look at the 4 big ranking signals that make bad news stick to the top like glue. Before you can even try to fix the problem, you really have to understand why the negative result is winning in the first place. First up, we've got domain authority. Negative content often lives on major news sites, court record aggregators, or complaint boards. These are highly authoritative domains that Google just naturally rewards. Second is relevance. A negative article usually features your exact name right there in the URL or the headline. To a search engine, that is a near-perfect match. Third is engagement. Human nature being what it is, bad news attracts clicks and really long dwell times, which just reinforces its high ranking. But the fourth signal? This is probably the biggest one: thin competition. Most individuals and small brands just have a really weak digital footprint. So the negative result isn't necessarily this unstoppable juggernaut, it's just that everything else competing against it is super weak. Which brings us nicely to Section 2, deleting at the source. Honestly, this is the absolute gold standard of removal. Getting the original publisher to actually take the content down is for sure the most permanent strategy. When they delete it, Google naturally drops it. Boom, nothing left to suppress or monitor. But you gotta do it right. Step 1, find the actual decision maker. If it's a news site, you want the editor, not the reporter who wrote it. Step 2, make a heavily documented case. Don't just complain, bring the receipts. Prove a case was expunged, or facts have changed, or it violates their policy. Step 3 is absolutely crucial. Ask for a fallback. If they absolutely refuse to delete it, see if they'll anonymize your name or just add a no index tag. A no index tag means the page stays live on their site but completely disappears from search results. Problem solved. Finally, step 4, once they make the change, immediately run that URL through Google's outdated content tool to force a recrawl. Just remember, this whole publisher outreach dance usually takes weeks, sometimes even months. But what if they just flat out refuse? That takes us to Section 3, Google's own removal tools. This is your backup plan when publishers won't cooperate. Now, what's really interesting here is the critical distinction between these two strategies. Source removal means the content is permanently deleted everywhere. It is wiped from the internet. Google de-indexing, though, that just means the content is hidden from Google search results, but the actual live page is still sitting on the host's server. Anyone with the direct link can still see it. But let's be real, for most reputation campaigns, search visibility is the main headache, so de-indexing is still a massive, massive victory. Now, as of 2026, Google offers 3 incredibly specific self-service tools you really need in your back pocket. The first is Results About You. This is your go-to for doxing. It handles home addresses, phone numbers, financial info, and super importantly, non-consensual explicit imagery like AI deepfakes. It even proactively monitors for your contact info. Second is the outdated content tool. Like we mentioned, this forces a recrawl. It won't remove live content, but it flushes out old cached snippets if a page has been updated. Third is the personal content removal form. This is a slightly more manual, escalated process for highly sensitive information on third-party sites. They might be narrow tools, but they cover way more ground today than they ever used to. All right, move it on to Section 4, legal action and suppression. When the quick fixes fail, we bring in the heavy lifters. Get this, 50%. That is roughly the percentage of URLs that Google actually successfully removes when requested under EU and UK right-to-be-forgotten laws. Under laws like GDPR, folks in Europe can have inadequate or irrelevant results delisted. Outside of Europe, you might be looking at DMCA takedowns for stolen photos or defamation claims for straight-up false facts. But honestly, legal paths are notoriously slow, and they can sometimes attract a ton of unwanted attention to the exact content you're trying to hide. Since most negative content is completely legal and hosted by publishers who won't budge, you usually have to rely on suppression. You just have to outrank the bad stuff with overwhelmingly strong, positive assets. Step 1 is building a real entity footprint. Get a personal domain with proper schema markup to tell Google exactly who you are. Step 2, claim high-authority profiles like LinkedIn, Crunchbase, or YouTube. You can't outrank a huge news site with a brand new tiny blog. You have to borrow authority from platforms that already have it. Step 3 is publishing consistently, because Google loves fresh content for branded searches. And Step 4 is earning legitimate digital PR, like jumping on podcasts or writing contributed articles. Look, suppression takes real sweat equity, usually around 2 to 6 months to truly reshape page 1, but it allows you to completely command your own narrative. And that leads us to a massive, game-changing update in Section 5, the AI search frontier. This 2026 paradigm shift changes absolutely everything we've talked about so far. Just let the reality of this sink in for a second. Content de-indexed from Google can still be retrieved by AI systems crawling the open web. Think about what that actually means. In the past, if you got Google to de-index a page, you were safe. But today, AI overviews and assistants synthesize their answers by reading the entire open web. That includes the very article you successfully hid from a traditional Google search. Because the page is technically still live on a server somewhere, an AI crawler can find it and literally weave it right into an answer about you. So the absolutely crucial point here is that in the AI era, source removal, actually getting that file deleted by the publisher, is the only truly AI-proof solution. If it doesn't exist, AI can't crawl it. Furthermore, all that owned content you build for your suppression strategy, your structured info, your schema, your clear about pages, that becomes the exact material that shapes what AI systems say about you. Because if your information is incomplete, the AI is just going to fill those gaps with whatever negative content it can scrape up. You absolutely have to monitor your AI overviews monthly to track exactly which URLs these systems are citing so you know exactly what to target next. Let's pull all of this together in Section 6, your 2026 triage framework. Here is your step-by-step action plan. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact order of operations when bad news drops. Step 1. Always start with source outreach. It's the only permanent AI-proof fix. If they say no, move to Step 2. Check if it qualifies for any of Google's specific removal tools. If it doesn't, look at Step 3. Is there a real legal basis for a takedown? And if none of those apply, you finally move to Step 4, SEO suppression. You roll up your sleeves, build out that massive entity footprint, and just crush the negative content by outranking it, making sure to monitor AI along the way. Reputation management in 2026 isn't just about crisis response anymore. It is a permanent, always-on strategy. Your branded search is the absolute first impression you make, and it quite literally never, ever stops being made. So I want to leave you with this to think about. Go run a search on yourself right now. Seriously, go do it. What is AI saying about you today?